Good afternoon, friends, and welcome you back. How was the lunch? Nice. Okay, as you know, the next topic is auditing through CBS and reporting in ethics. Will be taken by our speaker Giriraj Soni. So before I introduce the speaker for the session, as you know, we are in the second year of the 4-year term, and last year it is led by Mr. Ketan Sayya, and I have observed the year has been fabulous. He has taken various initiatives and many programs were conducted. And this year, under the leadership of Mr. Saurabh Azmera, is just 10 days old office bearer tenure, and under his leadership many program has already big program has already happened. One of them is Capital Market Conclave, and then the GST National Conference, which is still going. Yesterday was the first day, and today it is second day. This session are being conducted at Tiraphan Bhavan, Kandivali, and that's why I told you in the afternoon that most of the office bearer, since they are occupied, you will not find them here. Under his leadership, the constant endeavor is there to have the multiple program, and has his motto, impact that matters. That's the theme he is driving. So coming back to this session, coming back to the introduction of Mr. Giriraj Soni, the speaker for the session. So Giriraj is a FCA in Disha and Sisa, working with Sarda and Parekh LLP, chartered account firm based in Vilepale, Mumbai. He is in practice for more than 23 years, specifically in the area of concurrent and statutory audit, bank audits, and including central statutory audit. Treasury internal concurrent audit is a specialized area, including the forex operation, information system audit of cooperative bank and stock broker and other. He is also faculty for various certificate course on the concurrent audit for banks, and that's why he is here today. He is a speaker at various ICI program for banks and computer related topics. He was also part of the group of writer for guidance note on bank audit 2017 and 2019. He has also been contributed to ICI publication on concurrent audit as well as risk-based internal audit. So welcome Giriraj Soni to this program on the concurrent audit. I request ICI, yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes. So post-lunch session, it's very difficult and challenging session for a speaker also as well as for participation. Speaker to be alive to the topic and participant to be ready to grasp whatever is being spoken during the session. Because most of the time the people prefer the last bench post-lunch session so that no one can keep an eye on them. So I request that all participants to be alive, and if you have any queries, if you have any doubt during the session, you can any time interpret me in between the session. Now the topic today is given to me is the CBS and how we are reporting to ethics, because most of the concurrent audits now are being conducted online. So Earlier, I used to remember we used to prepare a long report in Word file or Excel file, and then we need to submit to the department. But now the things are changed a lot. I think last 5 to 6 years, almost most of the bank, they are reporting through ethics. So the topic is CBS audit through CBS, and then reporting in the ethics. So I will be covering CBS overview, what should be our approach for concurrent audit, important commands which we'll see, CBS screen, how the actually when you are doing the audit, how the CBS look like. So that we also going to see that 1 or 2 case studies I am taking. Then last, as I discussed about the ethics process. Now CBS, if you see over a period, how the CBS has been changed. Earlier there was a manual registers, manual things which were being kept. The manual has shifted to the branch. Now the present scenario is that the computerization, entire thing, the transactions are happening at centralized locations. So everything is at centralized server. All transactions nowadays are processed through system. Now the important thing as far as the concurrent audit is concerned is that what is the expectation? How many of you are actually doing concurrent audit? Any concurrent audit? Okay. So what is the expectation? Can you tell me what is the expectation? As a concurrent auditor, transaction, if I see the transaction level checking, what is the expectation? So the expectation from the inspection department is that 100% all transactions to be verified. Now I am asking the question whether it is possible. Okay, then why we are taking responsibility? Okay, so looking at this, I can tell you that nowadays lot of transactions are being processed online. And as an auditor, it's really a big challenge whether you can verify 100% all the transaction or not. So my first submission as a concurrent auditor, as the auditor, is that you put a suitable remarks or suitable disclaimer or somewhere in the ethics also that the transactions have been verified on sample basis. Okay, so be clear about that. Wherever in any area, if you are finding that 100% transaction verification is not possible, try to mention some comment in the ethics also that we have verified on sample basis, because no one is going to read your report. Be clear about that. But it will safeguard you in case of any unseen contingency. Tomorrow if there is, suppose there is any fraud or any irregularity in that particular branch, the first thing they will ask is, क्या बोलते हैं? What they will ask? Whether the branch is under concurrent audit. So what were the concurrent auditors were doing? So this is the first question which will be posted. So be clear about that. Now going ahead, what are the major application? Because CBS, if you see, is a application, is a software through which the transactions are getting executed. So these are the 3 major player in the market and the brand name. Finacle, if you know the Finacle, is by Infosys, FlexCube is by Oracle, and Banks is TCS. So apart from this, there are many other software also which are being used in the market, but we are not going to discuss because everything cannot be discussed in the limited period of time. So we'll discuss the major software which are used by most of the bank. Now the first thing, I think some of you have raised your hand about that we are doing concurrent audit. So can you let me know which bank you are doing? Anyone? Yes, आपने जो concurrent audit 2-3 लोग कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, so they can share. Which bank you are doing? PNB. Okay, so which software they are using? Reporting, no, I am talking about the CBS. Finacle. Okay, so PNB is using Finacle. Any other person would like to throw a light on the software, CBS? So the first thing you should know is that the bank which you are doing audit, which CBS they are using. It's very clear. All of you must be having bank account, I suppose. Yes? Okay. So which bank? I am not asking account number. Yes, which bank? Anyone you can share your experience? It's not DPPI. It's not a personal information. I am asking bank, which bank? Yes? I see. So which software they are using? CBS? Okay, so as a auditor also, when you are doing from other side, then you should know this. Okay. So anyhow, I was just trying to say that focus is that whenever you are doing any bank audit, first of all be clear which software they are using. So suppose out of these three, which software they are using, because depending on that software, the capability or the commands or the audit strategy, the audit planning which will be do, that will have an impact. Now this is the broad CBS architecture. Now I don't want to go in the detail, but just wanted to explain the concept that how the things are being taken care at CBS level. If I see the round circle in the middle, you can see there are a lot of server. There is report server, application server, web service listener server, database server. So these are the name of the few server. But when you actually go to any bank and if you see the technical architecture, there might be n number of other servers which are not listed in here. Okay, so this is a broad architecture and how the data is flowing into the CBS. Now you can see around the circle there are so many channels, ATM, mobile, telebanking. These are the various sources through which the transactions are getting captured. All of us must be having mobile. Yes. So you must be doing some or other transaction through mobile. Okay. Most of the people I think are using UPI. सब कर रहे हैं UPI? No, how the UPI transaction hits कहाँ जाता है CBS में? Ultimately तो आपके GL में impact होता है because passbook में entry तो आ जाती है उसकी. Okay, so the point which I wanted to say is that कि पहले ऐसा नहीं था. The scenario which were there before 4 or 5 years was entirely different. Now the scenario is entirely different. Now there are a lot of transactions which are done through system where the people are not going to bank and the transactions are happening, and as a concurrent auditor what we have to do? We have to verify. Correct? So wherever there is expectation of 100% transaction, please cross that. It is not possible due to all this. And now the interesting part which is not listed in this is that there are certain transactions which are getting posted by system itself. System is doing the transaction. AI आपने सुना ही होगा. What the AI is doing? AI is doing certain processes. So similarly bank में तो AI पहले से ही आया हुआ है. Because there are certain transactions which are getting posted through system without any manual intervention. The best example is your interest application. कभी आपने देखा है बैंक में कोई बैठ के इंटरेस्ट पोस्ट कर रहा है एक लेजर में? No, it is not possible. So it is automatically getting posted into the respective GL. जहाँ जहाँ पे जिसका अकाउंट है automatically debit entry और credit entry हो जाता है. If it is loan account, it will be debit. In a saving account, interest will be credited. So this thing you should keep in mind when you are doing the concurrent audit. Now briefly I am going fast for these features in CBS because just for information I just wanted to show some of the features why the CBS came into picture is because unique customer ID. So there is a unique customer ID for each and every customer. Suppose you are having saving account, you are having current account, you are having a loan account, 3 different type of accounts. So account number can be different but customer ID will be same. So that is why the CBS came into picture. So still there are a lot of challenges when we are actually doing the audit. We find that there are certain cases where the customer ID is not unique. This may be due to certain or other issue. For example, recently there was a merger between Union Bank, Corporation Bank and one other bank. So 3 banks were merged. So when the bank is merged, what will happen to unique customer ID? So अगर Corporation Bank में customer ID अलग होगा, party is same. Union Bank में merge हुआ तो Union Bank में already that party was there. So again उसका unique customer ID, इनका unique customer ID, वो दोनों merge करके एक ही customer ID बना. So this is a unique example I am giving you, but likewise it should be your audit objective when you are doing concurrent audit, whether any duplicate customer ID is there or not, because there are certain migration related issues. जैसे मैंने starting की slide में दिखाया था, पहले manual था, फिर branch था, फिर migration हुआ. So at the time of migration there were certain issues. Due to that also the bank has not given unique customer ID. So that is the quite possibility. Now major functions are integrated such as lending, deposit, lockers, non-fund based. All these functions are now a part of CBS. So that's why most of the bank has shifted to CBS. Interesting update now I want to tell about is that there are certain other transactions certain other application, जैसे मैंने कहा कि अभी AI आ रहा है, likewise many banks are now moving to the other application apart from CBS. For example, trade finance. If you are having a bill discounting facility and you are doing a transactions. So earlier क्या होता था, you used to go to the branch, you need to give document to the branch. Now but many banks, even private banks have started very early. Now public sector banks are also doing the same. They have given an application. आपको घर बैठे एक portal दे दिया. You log into that portal, you submit the document. The moment you submit the document, it will be auto verified and automatically the entry will be posted in the CBS. So there is some other application through which the entry is coming into CBS. So there may be lot of other applications also which are hitting into CBS. Bank can do customization as per their own requirements. So every bank has got their internal framework, their internal circulars. So they customize the CBS according to their own need. For example, ICICI is using Finacle. Similarly, Union Bank is also using Finacle. Then Bank of Baroda is also using Finacle. So all these banks are using Finacle. But when we actually do the audit in different banks, then we come to know कि नहीं, CBS तो Finacle ही है. But some features, कुछ command वहाँ चलते हैं, कुछ command नहीं चलते हैं वहाँ पे. So this may be because of the customization. So each and every bank has done customization according to their own needs. Multi-locational access. So you can do the transaction at any location. This is a big advantage. Then common interface. So transactions are flowing through various applications but recorded at centralized level. For example, RTGS transaction, NEFT transaction, UPI transaction. So all these transactions are basically done through routing through some other channel and then they are hitting into CBS. So there are various channels, various applications which are around the CBS and ultimately it is hitting into my CBS. So that was the brief overview about CBS. So I am making certain statement. So as a participant, you have to say whether you agree or you disagree. CBS is a computerized system, hence it is a foolproof system. How many of you agree? And how many disagree? Okay, so anyone want to share why you are disagreeing? You can share your thoughts. Yes, any thoughts? Just raise your hand. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. Okay. So you want to say garbage in, garbage out. Yeah. Ultimately, there is a thing. If my input is incorrect, so my output will be incorrect. So that's why it is not foolproof. Any other thoughts? Okay, so the answer is correct because the system is not foolproof. Because if you see every system, there are three aspects or three components of any system. What are those three components? There is input, there is process, and there is output. So these are the three components of any system. So if there are any errors which are at particular levels, for example, input level, as sir has pointed out, if I am giving the wrong input, my output will be wrong. So this is the broad objective. Why the concurrent audit is still relevant is because of this only. Because my first data entry point is at branch level. So as an auditor, as a concurrent auditor, you need to identify what are your data entry points at branch level. Because this is also changing because now the banks are moving into different model. Different model in the sense, earlier when we were doing audit, so your account were open at branch level. But now when you go to the branch, you just fill the form. But the account doesn't get open at the branch level. The entire document said they send to the centralized team. From the centralized team, they do the transaction level the master entry, and accordingly the account is opened. So this is the structure in most of the banks. Even cooperative banks have now started this type of culture, where your account is not opened at branch level. So that's why it is very important that you understand where is my data input at branch level or at other levels. If it is at branch level, it is very, very essential that the input which is given to the system is correct. So if that is not correct, your output will be wrong. Similarly for the process, now as far as the process is concerned, you are not much bothered because the process is taken care by CBS team, their core developer team, and there is a system audit also. So if there is a processing logic, generally auditors are not responsible. But yes, you need to test the process on sample. For example, interest application. Now interest is applied, you need to understand how the interest is applied, and you need to check the logic, how the interest is applied is correct or not. So third level is output. Suppose my input is correct, my process is also correct. But when I giving the output, say example, if I'm as a concurrent auditor, we are taking a report from the system, say balance exceeding the limit. Now that report showed that there are 10 accounts where my limit is exceeded. But when I actually go to the system, when I check the individual account, then I come to know, okay, no, ये report गलत आ रहा है because that account is within limit. But still there is an error in reporting. So there can be error at output level. So that 3 level there can be different type of errors. So that's why it's very important that you don't rely on that कि system is foolproof. So AI आने के बाद भी अपना काम तो रहेगा ही, ठीक है. Second is audit in CBS require more technical knowledge. How many of you agree? How many of you disagree? No hands. So what I can understand? Yes? No answer? खाना ज़्यादा लंच ज़्यादा अच्छा हो गया लग रहा है. Yes? Any thoughts? No thoughts? Okay, so if you are not sharing your thought, I will share my thoughts because I got a limited period of time. Okay, so my thought is that CBS doesn't require much technical knowledge. You don't require any technical. I think all of you must having mobile. है सबके पास? Okay, कुछ लोग तो शायद उसमें ही लगे हुए ही हैं, ठीक है. यहाँ पे है नहीं. So, which mobile you are using? Apple, Android, कौन सा कर रहे हैं? Okay, Apple वाले कितने हैं यहाँ पे? Raise your hand. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. ठीक है. Anyone can share जो भी Apple वाले हैं कि सबसे पहले आपने कब लिया था Apple मोबाइल? 4-5 साल पहले? 2 साल पहले? Yes? कितना? 2 साल पहले? Yes, raise your hand. Anyone? अच्छा, तब से लिया हुआ है, ठीक है, तब तो ठीक है. तो तब तो इतना टेक्नोलॉजी एडवांस भी नहीं था. नाउ द पॉइंट इज दैट कि सपोज आप पहले एंड्रॉइड यूज़ करते थे एंड देन मोमेंट यू शिफ्टेड टू एप्पल. सो किसी ने आपको बताया एप्पल ने आके कि आपको कैसे यूज़ करना है? नहीं बताया ना, बट आपके पास था तो यू इमीडिएटली अडॉप्टेड टू दैट टाइप ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी. सो सिमिलर इज CBS. CBS डजंट रिक्वायर एनी टेक्निकल नॉलेज. आपको खाली बैठना है, CBS पे काम करना है बस. यू हैव टू सिट एट द ब्रांच, यू नीड टू सी what is the system, उसमें कहाँ से रिपोर्ट निकलता है, क्या निकलता है, that's all. So it doesn't require any technical knowledge. Okay, be clear about that. Don't be in your mind कि हमको CBS के लिए बहुत कुछ सीखना है. Nothing like that. आपको खाली CBS के लिए CBS होना चाहिए, that is important. जैसे एप्पल का फ़ोन होगा तो आप सीख जाओगे, वैसे ही क्या होता है, Tally and all other software we have ready access, but CBS we don't have ready access. So that is the biggest challenge. So the moment you go get any concurrent audit, sit at the branch, just spend 2-3 days for understanding the system, that's enough. उससे ज़्यादा आपको कुछ technical knowledge नहीं चाहिए. Third is there is no need for control review as controls are inbuilt in system. How many of you agree? Disagree? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. बस बाकी? Yes? Still under thinking कि क्या आंसर दे या मोबाइल पे सर्च करके बताए. Yes, so those who disagree just can share their thoughts. Okay, so if you are not sharing, then again I had a limited period of time, so I will explain you. So as I discussed in the first point, the system has got 3 components: input, क्या बताया दूसरा, और थर्ड वाला क्या था, ठीक है. तो व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ कंट्रोल? सो कंट्रोल ये कहीं ना कहीं तीनों पे लगाया है. जैसे हमने कहा कि देयर कैन बी एरर एट इनपुट लेवल, सो देयर आर सर्टेन कंट्रोल. सिमिलरली प्रोसेस लेवल है, उस पर कुछ कंट्रोल्स डिजाइन किया तो दैट प्रोसेस कैन नॉट गो रॉन्ग. सिमिलरली आउटपुट लेवल पे भी कंट्रोल्स है. सो व्हेन यू सी एट द बैंक सिस्टम एज ए होल, सो देयर आर कंट्रोल एट वेरियस लेवल. नाउ द इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट इज दैट कि द कंट्रोल्स आर एवर चेंजिंग. जैसे आज कोई रेगुलेशन आ गया, आज कोई नया फीचर सिस्टम में अपडेट कर दिया, जैसे किसी ने फिनटेक ने बोला ये सिस्टम लगा दो. आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल यू आर यूजिंग एनी ऐप फॉर मोबाइल बैंकिंग ऐप, तो आपने देखा होगा कि और क्रेडिट कार्ड ऐप, यू कैन सी हाउ फ्रिक्वेंटली दे आर चेंजिंग देयर ऐप. हर 2 महीने में एक अपडेट आता है, हर 3 महीने में अपडेट आ जाता है. तो वी डोंट हैव एनी चॉइस बट वी हैव टू क्लिक आई अंडरस्टैंड एंड देन गो ahead. So, but I don't understand, but I go ahead. So that is the same scenario with the CBS. CBS में भी any updates come तो generally user don't come to know, और auditors को भी पता नहीं चलता है क्या update हुआ है. तो backend में there are so many changes which are keeps on happening. Now the moment you do one changes, there will be impact on other controls. So that's why there is a constant need of review of the controls as a auditors. Because आपके backend में process change हो रहा है, तो जैसे आपका process change हो रहा है, so the controls are also changing. So that's why it's very important that as a auditor you review the controls. Don't depend on that कि CBS में तो सब कुछ सही है. Next, bank staff have full knowledge of all CBS applications. How many agree? Disagree? Okay, so anyone can share their thoughts. How you are disagreeing? Correct, very good answer. So that is what I was expecting. That this CBS is based on role-based model. So limited access is given to each and every person. For example, clerk है तो clerk को clerk का जितना process करना है उतना ही दिखेगा. Similarly for KYC person, so he will have access to only KYC module. So उसको उतना ही दिखेगा. He will not have access to other part also. So sometime they may be given any other role depending on the urgency, but otherwise role is fixed so that you don't have a much knowledge. I will say they don't have any knowledge. Because nowadays the things are that ki the person, there is a division of work. So every person who is in the chain is doing some or other work, but he doesn't know what the other person is doing. So this is the corporate scenario and this is the truth for bank also. Yes. Next is NPAs are system generated, automated. How many of you agree? How many disagree? Disagree? Okay. Not fully agree. Okay, so again, if you see the RBI requirement, it is mandatory. Nowadays, auto marking of NPA is the RBI requirement. So as a concurrent auditor also you should see and you should check whether the NPAs are daily marking of NPA is happening or whether it is a system generated or not. Because this is a special focus area where RBI is also very keen, and as a statutory auditor, wherever we are doing audit, so the RBI is specifically asking certification from the statutory auditor whether their system-based asset classification is being followed or not. So this is very critical aspect. If you are disagreeing, just check into the bank because this is mandatory. So you cannot deny that. Earlier, yeah, there was a lot of issues where the bank were not doing automation. So there was manual intervention, but now the things are very clear that IREC, NPA identification, NPA marking has to be through system only. So this is about daily marking of NPA. So auditor to understand the auto marking of NPA, this is the requirement as a auditor, you need to check. Now how we can do it, just I am giving some simple strategy which we are doing it. So you can also do the same thing when you are doing the audit. So compare variation in SMA 012 report for continuously 2-3 days. Now what is SMA 012? I am not going to explain about that, but basically is the prior early identification of NPA. That is the guideline where the bank is required to do the classification of overdues. So overdue is classified into 0 and 1 and 2. So up to it is the prior stage of NPA. So you can compare whether there is a movement in SMA 0, 1 and 2 is automatically done or not. Then the check stock related parameters for due date. Now if you see one of the criteria for NPA identification is that there should not be any stock statement overdue for more than 180 days. So you just check that parameters whether that is being followed by the bank. Then check overdue calculation from the system. So wherever the overdues are there in any account, you recalculate the overdue and check whether it is properly calculated from the system or not. Because my NPA identification is dependent on the overdue amount. and the aging of that overdue. So whether that cycle is correct or not. Then you can also check the short review ad hoc related parameters and non-renewal cases, and what is the impact on those NPA account. Also you can check for every bank there is a policy which clearly defines how the NPA is to be identified, how the NPA is to be marked. So they check their internal policy for NPA and credit monitoring. So there you will find that there are certain guidelines which will specifically address the daily marking of NPA. Last but not the least is check bank's policy for manual intervention. So as Sir has pointed out that yes, it may be partially, sometimes there is a manual intervention. Now RBI guidelines are very clear that even though there is manual intervention, your policy for manual intervention should be clearly adopted and should be approved by the board. So there has to be a clear-cut policy in what circumstances manual intervention is permitted. If it is permitted, then what is the process which the bank needs to follow in case of manual intervention. So there will be a set of guidelines which the bank will decide कि suppose manual intervention है तो कैसे होगा, क्या होगा, IT के approval से होगा, accounts के approval से होगा, GM के approval से होगा. All that parameters will be defined and it will be put to the board also. Some banks we have seen that they are putting all the cases of manual intervention to the board. So it's a good practice. So depending on bank to bank, there will be certain guidelines which you need to check. Now, in the previous slide, I see that I asked about that you require more technical knowledge, but now it's my view that you don't require much technical knowledge, but yes, you require some banking concept. So what is the banking concept? Is the balancing report. Anyone has seen balancing report? What is the balancing report? Okay, किसी ने भी नहीं देखा. So as I told you that कि banking accounting is altogether different when we come to the commercial accounting and all other industry accounting. So there is a balancing report which give me the detail of any particular GL item. Say example आपने saving bank है, so saving bank में you will get a total. Total say example 1 crore is my GL balances. So within that 1 crore, how many saving bank accounts are there? So if I generate a balancing report, I will get a detail of all the individual items. Then in the banks there is a office account and control accounts. Generally when we are seeing the normal case, sundry suspense हमको मिलता नहीं है, but in the bank, sundry and suspense you will find most frequently used. हमको articles training में पहले दिन सिखाया जाता था. Vouching करना है, trial balance check करना है, और trial balance में क्या देखना है? Is there any entry which is pending in suspense? So there should not be no suspense in suspense account, ideally. But यहाँ पे बैंक में उल्टा होता है because sundry and suspense are widely used for any transaction because bank are not doing accounting based on the individual accounting head जो अपने 3 rules starting में सिखाए थे. I think all of you are remember or not. But what is the rule for personal account? Debit the receiver and credit the giver. This is one of the rule. But bank में वो follow नहीं होता है. Okay, so bank में if anything comes where you cannot find the person name. Say example, if some contractor is doing renovation work at the bank, so जैसे ही बैंक उसको payment करेगी, where the entry will be passed? Suppose बैंक ने advance दिया उसको. So nowadays every contractor require advance. So the moment I do the advance, it is not my expenses. So where do I show my advance? So any type of advance I will debit to suspense. Okay, similarly there can be n number of entries. For example, UPI में there is an entry. आपको पता ही नहीं है किसका है. किसी ने check जमा करा दिया, उसने account number नहीं लिखा. Entry is there, so they will pass in sundry credit. So likewise, there are so many transactions where bank is using sundry and suspense. So you have to be clear, and it is a special requirement in case of concurrent audit, statutory audit also that how many type of sundry and suspense are being used, and as an auditor you need to comment aging analysis of the sundry and suspense. So month-wise or date-wise breakup of sundry and suspense is to be provided. It is not like that all sundry to be reverse. ऐसा नहीं है. Suspense में भी हो सकता है. There might be pending entries, but that will be genuine entry. For example, जैसे the most of the bank premises are on lease. So the moment I take a lease, I have to give deposit. Bank will give deposit to the landlord. So where will that deposit be parked? कहाँ पे होगा? Suspense. Yes? All of you are with me? So that is how the sundry and suspense move in the bank. So you need to understand that GL and sub GL as I told you that there is a GL and there is sub GL. Saving है, saving के नीचे there might be different type of saving account. जैसे senior citizen का अलग है, women का अलग है, कोई special scheme है, तो all are subsidiary GL. So this is how the bank accounting works. Then there can be vouchers. जैसे normal audit में vouching करते हैं वैसे यहाँ पे भी vouchers होते हैं. But the difference between normal vouchers and this voucher is that there can be a single debit and multiple credit. What can be single debit, multiple credit? For example, interest application. Moment I apply the interest, what will be the accounting entry? Say interest on deposit. What can be the entry? Yes, we chartered accountant are known for accounting entries. What can be the entry? Debit the interest. So there will be single debit and credit to depositors. So there will be multiple depositors. So this is how the transaction will flow. So likewise, there are so many transactions where we find only one leg as debit, other leg goes credit. Similarly, on other line, one leg credit, all other debit. So this is how the transactions moves. So you need to be clear about those accounting entries. And then again, limit type. What are the limit type? Fund based, non-fund based. You should know what is fund based limit, what is non-fund based limit. EOD, what is EOD? End of the day. And daily closing, the bank's trial balance is closed on daily basis. Okay? There is no entry which can be passed backdated. अगर backdated में entry करना है तो क्या करना है? So there is a bank, in their bank there is a concept of value dating. So what will be impact of value dating for interest application? So value dating is again very important concept. And last but not the least is SMA and NPA provision. So there is no provision which is done at the branch level. So as a concurrent auditor, you should remember provision is done only at head office level, not at branch level. Okay, so these are certain banking concepts which I thought should be useful when you are doing concurrent audit. Already I explained this, that system has three parts: input, output and process output. Simple example, I give an input ROI, process is interest calculation, output is account statement. So this is an example. Then certain terminology, sole ID and set ID. What is sole ID? The branch where you are entering the transaction, that is sole ID. Set ID, branch or back office who initiated the transactions. Okay, so these are set. Suppose I am having a branch at Mumbai, but I am doing transaction, I am depositing checks, for example, at Delhi. So that will be set ID. So this is how the transaction being captured. Transaction ID and date. So every transaction is captured in the system with unique ID. So system, even though transaction is reported by system, generated by system, then also there will be transaction number. So transaction, there are three types of transaction: cash, clearing, transfers. In general, these are three types of transaction. Then there can be cash receipt, cash payment, CRCP. As I told you, that transaction can be generated by bank, customer. आप UPI से कर रहे हो तो you are doing the transaction. Or third is system. System also can do the transaction. Account number, there will be separate series of account number. Transaction in the bank, there is an internal control mechanism where the transaction is entered, posted and verified. So one person, there is a maker-checker concept for each and every transaction. So one person is doing the transaction, another person is posting the transaction, verifying the transaction, and another person is posting the transaction. This is how the transactions move in the system. So these are the various control in CBS. I am just highlighting some few control. But if you see, as a concurrent auditor, your entire checklist which is given to you is basically a control checklist. Some of the controls are DP limit, auto expiry of password, exceptional transaction reporting, deactivation of dormant account, transaction posted based on financial delegation of powers. There is an audit trail for financial as well as non-financial transactions. This is a control. Credit scoring integration with CBL and other type of applications. Example, nowadays there is a concept of digital loan. I think you must have heard. घर बैठे बैठे आप क्लिक करो, अप्लाई, आपको लोन मिल जाएगा. Most of the NBFCs are doing, but public sector banks are, or private sector bank, they are also started. So this is, वो कैसे होता है? Because logic and everything is built in the system. Based on that, based on eligibility, automatically sanction is given. So these are the CBS related control. Now quickly we will go through the command. I am not, because we have very limited period of time, so I am just discussing 3 or 4 few important commands which are useful as a concurrent auditor. HACLI, HACLINQ, that is account ledger inquiry. So moment you want to check any account in the system, normally हम ledger scrutiny करते हैं सब जगह. तो बैंक में भी अगर आपको ledger scrutiny करना है तो what is the option? This is the option in the Finacle. HACL INQ will give a detailed information about the ledger of that particular customer. In case of banks, there is an option TL DL accounts, and then there is a print option. Within that, there are options such as deposit, CC, OD account, and print option is available. Limit verification. As an auditor, I need to verify whether the limit which is entered in the system is correct or not, and I want to check the historical limit. Whenever there is a change in what was the change in the limit, when it was changed. So if I want to check both the things, this is the best option, HACL HMI. So it will have a detailed history when it was changed. So ideally, as an auditor, what is our focus? Generally, we try to see is that there are two types of limit, DP limit and sanction limit. Okay, what is sanction to particular account and how much an individual borrower is able to withdraw. That is DP limit. So my next question is that, what you see the difference between, can you see the difference between those two limits? क्या होना चाहिए? Ideal scenario में क्या होना चाहिए? My sanction limit should be changing every month? No. So my sanction limit should be static. And my DP limit should be dynamic. It should ideally change every month. Because based on the stock or book day statement, my DP limit will change. So as an auditor, again, what is my audit objective? I need to find wherever there is any change in sanction limit in between the period. Suppose एक साल के अंदर 3-4 बार sanction limit change हुआ, क्यों हुआ? Similarly, DP limit आपने एक fix रखा है, तो क्यों रखा है? So this should be your audit objective, and through this command you can check how and when the limit has been changed. Whether it is, first you come to know whether limit has been changed or not, and then based on the audit procedure, based on the document, you can check whether it has been changed with a genuine reason, is it changed with the supported evidence or not. Sometimes bank do have a concept of short review because the borrower is not giving full papers. So what the bank will do, they will give a temporary review, for example 3 months, 6 months. Regular review also can be in some cases given for 6 months. So if that is the scenario, then my sanction limit can be changed within 6 months also. So that depends on the circumstances, but as auditor we need to check whether this is happening or not. Then asset classification history. Now as an auditor we need to be vigilant कि suppose कोई account है, तो why this account में NPA? Okay, चलो NPA हो गया. Then when it has become standard? Now if it has become standard at the fag end, जैसे आप मार्च में audit करने के लिए जा रहे हैं या month end में कोई account है which is become standard, बाद में वापस NPA हो जाता है. So if you want to check those movement of the account, for example कभी NPA में हो रहा है, कभी बाहर जा रहा है, कभी आ रहा है, कभी जा रहा है, frequently it is moving. So if that is the case, you can check with this option, asset classification history. It will give me all the events whenever there is a change in the asset classification. Security maintenance. Again, we find that in most of the cases there is a error or there is a possibility of, you can say, reporting wrong security value in the system. So as an auditor, it is our duty to verify whether security valuation is properly updated in the system or not, because it will have impact on the provision. Suppose once the account become NPA, then as per the IRAC rule, I have to create a provision, secured provision, the provision is different, and unsecured part provision is different. So if my security value is not properly updated, obviously my secured and unsecured portion will be incorrect, and accordingly the provision value can be either understated or overstated. So for this you need to be you need to verify whether the security value which is entered in the system, maybe by the branch or maybe by the back-end operation team, whether the security value is correct or not. What we find is then most of the cases that एक बार अगर account sanction हो गया तो initially जो security value है which is fed in the system, that is fed, but next time whenever renewal comes for that particular account, so most of the time at the time of renewal there is some change in the security, so people don't change the value of security. Okay, so this is our experience. So you can also check with this option whether the security which is maintained in the system is correct or not. Another part is we need to verify the lien marking, whether the loans against the deposit, whether the lien is properly marked in the system or not. So this is the option where you can check HALM, account lien maintenance, where you can check the detail of the account wherever the lien marking has been done or not. Now going ahead, we'll quickly take only just limited time is there, so we'll take 2 case studies. So this is the case studies, you can read through. The XYZ has granted CC facility of 10 crores. The regular limit valid was up to 31st March 25. Short review 1425 for 2 months. Second short review on 1st June 25 for 2 months. Third short review on 1st August 25 for 2 months. So, as an auditor or as a, what should be your stand as on 30th September 25? Okay, only 2 short review. Any other view? तो account NPA होगा कि नहीं होगा? Yes, any other view? Okay, yeah. My question is specific. As on 30th September NPA होगा कि नहीं होगा? Suppose you are auditor and this comes to you, so what you will do? Okay, so the clear answer is there. The issue is related to interpretation. In most of the bank where we are doing audit, we found that there is a issue of interpretation because the bank people are interpreting the RBI circular in different way. The circular is very clear that working capital limit, regular ad hoc limit should be reviewed, renewed within 90 days of the due date. Okay, so within 90 days there is a clear guideline. The 90 days में आपको renew करना है. Delay beyond 180 days, generally 6 months, is undesirable and leads to NPA classification. Okay, so guidelines are very clear. As a auditor, you don't count the number of short review, you count the period. Okay, so 2 है, जैसे आपने बोला सर ने कि 2 कर सकते हैं, 2 से ज़्यादा भी कर सकते हैं. एक बैंक में हमने ऐसा देखा था पॉलिसी कि they can do 4 short review, but the time limit उन्होंने internal circular में बताया था कि maximum time limit should be 180 days. So if that is fine, so I am okay with that guideline. So the issue is that ki you need to verify whether it is regularized or my regular renewal has happened within 180 days or not. If that is not the case, then you can mark the account as NPA. So there are cases of technical NPA. Next is recovery in NPA. The CC account of XYZ was in DB2 doubtful 2 category as on 31st March 23, having outstanding balance as 10 lakhs. Unrealized interest of rupees 1 lakh and charges to be recovered 50,000. So these are the case. So during the month of August 23, the bank has received 2 lakhs and accordingly CC balance was reduced to 8 lakhs. जैसे 10 आया 2 लाख आया तो मेरा कम हो गया 8 लाख. So whether this adjustment is correct? No. My outstanding balance is 10 lakhs. Okay. Out of that, I have recovered. This is outstanding balance when I am saying is only a principal outstanding. Okay, so again, I would not, because time limitation is there, I am cutting short on the answer. So I am saying that the resolution is that accounting policy has to be checked and has to be verified how the bank is doing the accounting for recovery, because different banks are having different practices. So first it should be adjusted toward principal, or it should be toward interest or towards charges. So every bank has to have a clear cut policy. Generally every bank has policy. If you see the annual report of any bank, you just see the recovery policy, how the recovery policy is defined, and whether the adjustment is done according to the policy or not. Because any other treatment apart from this policy, suppose you are saying it is to be adjusted to principal, then this treatment is correct. But the moment I say, no, it is not to be adjusted in principal, it has to be adjusted toward charges, then my accounting treatment will be different. So depending on case to cases, you need to check what is the bank's policy and how the adjustment is done in case of NPA. So going ahead, as I told you that I can show some of the screenshot because these are the proprietary things. So I thought I will just show in the screen itself. So if I see, I think everyone you can see, just a broad structure how the CBS will look like when you are actually entering the transaction in the Finacle. So bills payable, if I see the menu is OIIB, I click and then certain fields are available. So wherever any star is marked, it means that field is compulsory. Otherwise, I can skip those fields and then I submit, then I can get the report. Similarly for HACL INQ, the moment you give the input command, if you see on the left hand side there is a menu shortcut, there is a blank window. So all our commands has to be entered into that menu. And then once you enter the command, then obviously this will be the output of the ledger. So there will be transaction date. This I discussed in the session about the value date. So value date, then there will be transaction list, there will be debit amount, there will be credit amount, then there will be balance. So this is how this will look like. For lien check, HALM we already discussed. So this is how it will look in the system. So once you enter that, all details will be available. And I can see collateral wise what is the link to particular account, whether it's a book debt or inventory, when it was changed, how it was changed. So all details will be available in the system. So collateral check, if I to check what is the value of security, so entire value details of that security, whether it is a tradable security, whether it is a MOL property, what is the value of that property, everything will be captured into system. Then we have talked about Pinnacle. Now these are the other software which is FlexCube, where you can see there are a lot of options where reports are readily available at the back end. You just need to click and then ready-made reports are downloaded either in Excel format or TXT format. This is about the third CBS which we have talked about. It is about how this screen will look like. Deposit. If you see that below that there are certain options. If you click out that option, then detail of that particular menu will be available and you can get the desired report. Now coming to the last part is about the ethics reporting, as you discussed in the beginning that there are softwares where an auditor need to report. So this is one of the software ethics where many banks are using, and they require auditor to have a login ID for that ethics, and then whatever observations are there, that should be reported in that online portal itself. That is a ethics software. So you need to check the areas as per the scope. What I suggest that you prepare a brief audit program, because if you see the ethics, there are a lot of confusion, because first time when I used to handle with the ethics, there are a lot of confusion. कहाँ जाना है, किस option में जाना है, क्या करना है, पता ही नहीं चलता है. So basically you need to prepare your audit program कि आपको क्या क्या check करना है. You note down the observation, discuss that, and then probably find which is the area where I need to report in the ethics, because ethics बहुत wide है. If you drill down, सब जगह आपको बहुत कुछ मिलेगा. But you need to be clear कि मेरा ये observation है, where I need to put that observation. Keep supporting document also ready. Sometimes you may upload, there is an option in the ethics where you can upload the supporting evidence to your observation. UDIN needs to be generated. Okay, for every, because earlier when the first ethics was introduced, I still remember 3-4 years back, there was one bank which introduced the ethics, and when we have gone to the reports, when we reported, इसमें तो UDIN का option ही नहीं है, because जिसने डिज़ाइन किया सॉफ्टवेयर उसको पता ही नहीं UDIN क्या होता है, because वो एक्सटर्नल वेंडर है, उसने बना दिया, but as an auditor we need to generate UDIN. So subsequently they started with the UDIN, तो UDIN भी है, तो आप UDIN भी ready रखो, because that UDIN has to be entered into that software. The important part which I want to highlight last is that कि ethics में आपने report generate कर दिया. Generally क्या होता है, कोई भी concurrent audit sign करते हैं तो either physically sign करते हैं या DSC से sign करते हैं. Ethics में वैसा कुछ भी नहीं है. So आपको report का copy भी नहीं मिलेगा. So it's very important that the moment you click submit, जैसे आपका report submit हो जाएगा, you ask that back-end team या branch को बोलो कि एक copy हमको mail कर दे, because जो report का soft copy है direct उनके पास ही जाता है, अपने पास email पे नहीं आता. I requested many times to the ethics people कि at least there should be option कि आपका partners का email ID है, firm का email ID है, directly report should go there. But अभी तक वो functionality develop नहीं हुआ है. So it is very important as far as, because most of our forms are peer reviewed. So be careful that at least you have a copy of the report which you have signed, either through email or some other mechanism you get the report. Some important parts of the ethics data sheet I am discussing, because I cannot discuss in detail. There is a concept of data sheet. What is that data sheet? So example, in one of the bank there were total 61 data sheets. So depending on the bank to bank, there may be different data sheet. Data sheet is basic nothing but the audit objective which the bank want to focus. from the concurrent auditors. So there are ready-made 65, 67 or depending on the bank data sheet. Now this data sheet will be yellow in color. So the data sheet is automatically filled and the auditor need to check that input which is coming into those data sheet is correct or not. Say example, number of cases, account, how many account which has been reviewed during the period. जैसे नया account renew हुआ है, sanction हुआ है. So those will be available in data sheet. So what as auditor we need to check कि data sheet में वो entry आया कि नहीं. Because the how the ethics is working, they are capturing the data from CBS. So जैसे ही CBS में कोई account open हुआ, automatically ethics में आ जाएगा. And it will be auditor's duty to check whether the new account, is there any observation in the newly opened account or not. So this is one part. So auditor may visit the data sheet by invoking the menu option audit data sheet. Auditor should visit all the data sheet and save each of them. आपको एक एक data sheet पे जाके click करके सबको verify करके save करना है. And in some of the data sheet there is a column for auditor's observation. So if you have any audit observation, you mention that observation in that data sheet itself. If there is no observation, keep it blank. Then there are certain field marked as asterisk which needs to be filled in mandatory in all data sheets. So certain field when you are doing actually audit in ethics, you will come to know कि आपको ये mandatory fill करना ही है. Then audit observation. So you need to do the audit execution and as I discussed in the beginning, आपको audit program बना के आपके जो भी observation है, आपने observation identify कर लिए. Now where to report those observations? So reporting in ethics is designed in 4-5 different ways. Either you can report account wise or customer wise or checklist based or general banking or NP account. So there are 4-5 broad parameters in which ethics has been designed where you need to report your observation. So audit observation, if there are account related observation, you are doing one advanced verification. आपको लग रहा है कि advances में इतने observations है. So account wise you can report those observations. So select product type, select account product. System will list out all the available accounts under the selected scheme. Then you select the account and then report the observation. Now as I told you that data is directly coming from CBS. तो जैसे आपने CBS से pull out किया, automatically data आपको दिखेगा and then you need to check. The problem with this account wise observation is that कि अगर कोई account है जो is not open during the period review भी नहीं हुआ है, but आपने कोई पुराना account देखा है उसमें कोई observation है, so where to fit that observation, वो आपको वहाँ दिखेगा नहीं. You have to report in a different menu. So this is some screenshot I got for you for some of the Union Bank. This is there. So this is how account based audit type, account based observation, product type, loans and advances, account product, within loan and advances, CA general, and then you select accounts also. This account will be available and you have to click select and then you go ahead and you can submit your observation. So this is how the ethics will work. So you have to select audit areas and click next. Checklist will be displayed. So once you select account, checklist will be displayed. 10, 15, 20 checklist will be there. The important part, अगर आपको ethics में काम जल्दी करना है तो आपको एक thumb rule याद रखना है. Okay, what is the thumb rule? Default is set to yes. Okay, आपको by default yes सब में करना है. And if no is selected, then you have to give the command. You can change it to NA or no as applicable through the drop down box. If no is selected, remark button will be displayed. तो no आएगा तो compulsory आपको remarks देना ही देना है. Then click remarks button to enter additional observation. There is a concept of spot rectification. So whenever you find the objective of concurrent audit is spot rectification. Suppose आपको कोई observation मिला and you go to the branch people and try to rectify those observations. So some observation we are doing spot rectification, then also you need to mention in the audit report. ऐसा नहीं कि भाई हो गया तो अभी इसको report नहीं करना, ऐसा नहीं है. आपको spot rectify होगा. Nowadays, जैसे recently we have come across some experience कि अगर आपने ऑडिट में ऑब्जर्वेशन नहीं निकाला है तो भी आपको वहाँ से लेटर आ रहा है कि ये मंथ में 10 अकाउंट सेलेक्ट हुए हैं, 10 न्यू रिन्यूअल है, बट आपके केस में एक भी ऑब्जर्वेशन नहीं है. रिसेंटली यूनियन बैंक आल्सो केम अक्रॉस विद सम फॉरेक्स बैंक चेकलिस्ट. उन्होंने सब जितने भी फॉरेक्स ब्रांच है उसका ऑडिटर्स का एक मीटिंग लिया एंड दे स्टार्टेड बॉम्बार्डिंग कि आपने फॉरेक्स में कोई ऑब्जर्वेशन ही नहीं है. अरे ऑब्जर्वेशन कैसे होगा, ऑडिट किया है, नो ऑब्जर्वेशन तो नो ऑब्जर्वेशन होगा. सो द थिंग इज दैट मेनी ऑडिटर्स हैव done the audit, done the rectification, but not reported in ethics. So this is why I am again stressing that if you have any observation, you have done a spot rectification, then also mention in the ethics. फीड द ऑब्जर्वेशन इन द चेकलिस्ट, सेव, आपको हर चीज़ पे सेव करना, अगर आप सेव करना भूल गए तो आपका डेटा चला जाएगा. सो मैनी टाइम्स क्या होता है, हम बढ़ते जाते हैं, भूल गए क्लिक करना, आगे आगे बढ़ गए. सेव करना आपको जरूरी है, ईच एंड एवरीथिंग. ओके, सो दिस इज द पार्ट ऑफ एथिक्स. जैसे मैंने बोला, फॉर ईच एंड एवरी एरिया देयर इज चेकलिस्ट 1 2 3 4. बाय डिफॉल्ट यस है. 5 minutes, last 5 minutes. Audit observation checklist based. So once you click on checklist based, there will be checklist for each and every area. जैसे loans and advances है, उसका checklist है. So you can fill checklist wise also. So this is how the checklist based observation will be there. So you can say total number of checklists 155, and these are the various parameters. So as I told you, remarks yes, regular no, irregular not applicable. So these are the 3 only fields which are provided. So you have to go through each and every comment. आपको जहाँ पे भी ऑब्जर्वेशन है, say no and then you can fill the remarks. So change the status of checklist to yes no through the drop down. If no is selected, as I told you, the same thumb rule. Remarks box will be displayed for entering the auditor's remark. By default अगर आपने yes किया है तो कुछ नहीं आएगा, but आपको no करना है, so then automatically yes or NA you can do it. But whenever you say no, you have to enter the remarks. Then similar kind general banking, there will be checklist. You have to select product course को, same thumb rule, yes or no you have to remember. The important part last 2 3 is exit meeting. आपको कोई भी ऑडिट रिपोर्ट हो गया उसके बाद एग्जिट मीटिंग करना ही करना है. आफ्टर कंप्लीटिंग ऑल द ऑडिट ऑब्जर्वेशन, ऑडिटर शेल कंडक्ट एग्जिट मीटिंग विद द ऑडिटी एंड डिटेल्स ऑफ द सेम शेल बी अपडेटेड बाय ऑडिटी इन द एथिक्स सिस्टम. आपको सिस्टम में ही एग्जिट मीटिंग करना है. दिस इज द जस्ट ए ड्राफ्ट फॉर्मेट वेयर यू हैव टू डू द एग्जिट मीटिंग. Okay, and exit meeting can be done with the partners login. Generally they provided 2 3 different login. एक आपका टीम का login रहेगा, एक partners का रहेगा. So exit meeting can be done with the partners login only. So you have to log in. आपको जब भी जाना है तो exit meeting करना है. Audit wrap up. After exit meeting, auditor shall proceed for wrap up. After wrap up, system will not allow to change any audit observation. So exit meeting के बाद आप change भी कर सकते हैं. जैसे आपने exit meeting किया, but branch people will not agree certain observation. So again you have to rectify. वापस exit meeting करना है. Then the branch people will check and branch will give their okay for exit meeting. उसके बाद wrap up होगा. So this is how the wrap up should be done. Once the wrap up is done, then automatically your audit will be, report will be completed. So thank you very much for your listening. If you have any question, we can take it as I close the session. Yes, any questions? We can take up those questions.
Thank you so much, Giriraj sir, for such a wonderful and enlightening session for audit in CBS, along with all the detailed checklist what you have enlightened to us. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. That on behalf of the WIC, thank you so much for spending time. Thank you so much. I request Ritesh sir to just escort Mr. Vivek Kumar, our next faculty, for the session. Mr. Vivek Kumar Jain is a partner at Borkar and Majumdar with nearly 2 decades of professional experience in the taxation and assurance, with a specialized expertise in audit of cooperative banks and leading IFCR assignment of corporates, bank and clients. He has successfully conducted IT audits, certification in forensic, enabling complex fraud investigation and risk-based assessment. His professionally exposure into extensive audit, compliance engagement in insurance sectors, NBFCs and securities market also. He has handled assignment related to SEBI, MFI, MCX inspection to understand the capital market regulation and compliance framework. Completed certificate course in AI level 1, level 2. So I welcome Mr. Vivek Kumar for taking today's session. Thank you so much. Prior to the, I would request Ritesh sir to just give a moment to.
चलेगा. Good afternoon all.